Welcome back to Terraforming Mars. So we've gone over almost all of the cards. We just got some more left for the strategic cards, and I thought we'd start with the strategic event cards first. So first of all, we have the Hired Raiders. For the price of 1 mega credit, you can steal 3 mega credits from any player. So that's kind of interesting. Nice little attack card, if you will, and it's cheap. So definitely worth it. Then we have Sabotage. Then we have Land Claim. Now this one is actually kind of interesting. For the price of 1 mega credit, you get to place your marker on a non-reserved area. Only you may place a tile here. So that's kind of a strategic card, because maybe there is a spot you want to put one of your tiles on, but you don't want somebody else to put a tile on it. Maybe one that has a really good placement bonus, perhaps. Or maybe just one for a particular card that would let you place it on a particular, only on a particular spot on Terraforming Mars. Or on Mars, I mean. So it could be very strategic, and it's very cheap, just 1 money. So totally worth it if you are planning on putting a tile somewhere and you don't want your opponent to take that from you. So that might happen. Now, this is another nice little attack card, sort of. Also very cheap, just 1 money, or 1 mega credit. And for doing that, you can remove up to 2 animals or 5 plants from any player. So that's pretty cool. If played in the late game, you could remove 2 animals from another player if they have a couple of animals to decrease their score a little bit at the end of the game. Or, you can try to prevent them from placing too many greenery tiles on Mars and terraforming the planet, obviously. But if you want to place more than them, that could be very strategic, activating this event card, Virus. Here's another interesting one, Business Contacts. And it also has the Earth tag on it too. But remember, the Earth tag won't go towards particular cards unless, of course, you have that special effect, which decreases the amount of mega credits when playing a card with an Earth tag on it. But with this event, you get to look at the top 4 cards from the deck. You get to keep 2 of them for free, and then you discard the other 2. So that's a really good deal. Getting 2 free cards, and you get to look at you get to keep 2 of 4 of them. That's really good. The only time where it might backfire is all 4 of them end up being really good. Then you have a dilemma of which ones to keep. But most likely the case, when you get 4 cards, there may only be 1 or 2 you really want anyway. So this is a very good deal. For just 7 money, you could get 2 cards. And that's still cheaper when you think about it, because you would have to pay, well, actually it's just 1 money more, really, is all it is. It's just about 1 money more for each one you decide to keep, technically, because you're paying 7 money for the card. But, it's not that much more expensive. And you're getting extra cards, so it's worth it. Now, Bribed Committee, which is another Earth tag. For 7 money, you get to increase your TR rating. But it's also going to decrease your score by 2 points at the end of the game. Now, the reason why this isn't that much of a downer is because the TR rating, your Terraform rating, will go up by 2. That's your victory points. This is also your victory points. And so you're getting 2 more victory points, and then you're losing 2 victory points later. But the reason why this is good is because you're also getting to add this to your mega credit production to increase the amount of money you make each generation. So this is definitely worth your time. Bribed Committee. Then we have Mineral Deposit, another one of my favorites. For 5 money, you'll gain 5 steel, which is a steal for sure. Awesome card, because remember, that's like 10 mega credits. So for the price of 5, you're getting 5 back. You're getting 5 more. So you're making 5 credits out of the deal. You do the math, right? or 5 steel, should I say, you get 5 steel, which is very useful for building cards for sure. Definitely. Then we have the CEO's favorite project. For the price of 1 mega credit, you can add 1 resource to a card with at least 1 resource on it. So this would work with cards like microbes, animals, those other ones that have resources on a card. There's a few others. This would work towards that, as long as there was already at least 1 on it. So that's kind of cool, getting to add a resource for just 1 mega credit. That is a good deal. Here's another really good card. For the price of 5 money, you get to draw 2 free cards. Awesome event, worth your time. Investment loan. For 3 money, you will have to decrease your mega credit production 1 step, but you gain 10 mega credits. Now, is this worth it? Getting the extra 7 credits could be worth it, but maybe not so much, because you also have to decrease your mega credit production 1 step. The reason why this might be worth your time is if you have a special effect that decreases the amount of money you spend on Earth tags, which would drop it down to 0 if you have that special effect card, which would make it worth it by decreasing this by 1 and getting 10 investment loan. Or this could also be very useful towards the Earth route. You get benefits sometimes for certain corporations and things that work with the Earth tags. Or certain cards for that matter. So this is worth it if you're going the Earth route. But if you're not going the Earth route, this isn't not as useful as it could be. Okay, indentured workers. This is going to decrease your score by 1 at point at the end of the game. But the next time you play a card this generation, it costs 8 money less. So that's worth it in my eyes. To decrease your victory points by 1 at the end of the game, but getting to, make a certain card a little cheaper, that is definitely worth it in my book. And then we have Invention Contest. For 2 money, and this is a good deal too, you get to look at the top 3 cards from the deck, take one of them into your hand, and discard the other 2. So that's a pretty interesting event. I like this one a lot too. And it's cheap, and if you're trying to go the science route, this is totally worth it to get another one of those science tags for certain cards that require a certain amount of science tags. All right, so that's all of the events for Terraforming Mars, and that includes, obviously, strategic. So let's continue on with what's left. These green ones, the regular ones, for strategic. So we have Toll Station, Tropical Resort, then we have Cartel. Now this one's a really interesting one. For 8 money, you can increase your mega credit production 1 step for each Earth tag you have, including this one here, which is pretty cool. If you're going the Earth route and you have a lot of Earth tags, you could increase your mega credit production quite a bit. So that would totally be worth it. But if you don't have a lot of Earth tags, or none at all, except for this one obviously, this may not be worth your time. Cartel. And then we have Titanium Mine, another useful one. For the price of 7 money, you get to increase your titanium production 1 step. That's a bargain. Then we have Robotic Workforce. This one can get a little bit more complicated than others, but basically, Robotic Workforce allows you to duplicate only the production box of one of your building cards. So you have to have a building card that you've already played, a card that has this tag on it already in play, and it's not a it's not a corporation, obviously. It has to be an actual project card. And then you get to duplicate, meaning you get to increase whatever that production phase is for that particular card. That's what's so interesting. So like for instance, let's see here. This one here, Titanium Mine. It has a building tag on it. If you play the Robotic Workforce, you'd get to increase your titanium production 1 step because this is a building tag and this was the card you chose. For instance, here's another for instance. You also could do robotic workforce to do the tropical resort, which would decrease your heat production 2 steps, but it would increase your mega credit production 3 steps. So basically, the robotic workforce is doing only this part of a card you've already played. It doesn't do the victory points. It doesn't do any other bonuses you might receive for playing the card. Again, basically with this one, robotic workforce. It's just letting you reproduce this again, for instance, if this was one of the cards that you had played. Otherwise, then this wouldn't be worth it. And maybe so, it may not be super worth it, depending on what you have out. Then we have IO Mining Industries. Gene Repair. Research. And this was a good one. It cost us 11 money, and it's got 2 science tags on it, which would be very helpful. And then you get a victory point at the end of the game, and you also get to draw 2 cards with this card. So that's worth it, especially if you're going the science route. Here's a card that would be worthwhile with the research. Gene Repair. This cost us 12. You would need to have 3 science tags already in play before playing this card. So if you had played research first, you would only need 1 more science tag because this one has 2 of them on it. So that could be very useful. And then this one would be worth it because you get 2 victory points and you would get to increase your mega credit production 2 steps. So that's a good deal. And hopefully you maybe already have another card in play that has a science tag on it. So this would definitely help towards the science goals, for sure, or requirements. Then we have Satellites, Fuel Factory, Corporate Stronghold, Hackers, and here's another interesting one. For the price of 6 money, you get to increase your mega credit production 2 steps. So it's nice to have sponsors. And it's also got the Earth tag on it. Miranda Resort. Lightning Harvest. Mine. Well, this is a nice one. For the price of 4 mega credits, you get to increase your steel production 1 step. That's definitely a steal. Alright, and so we'll continue on in the next video. We'll go over the rest of these, and then we'll check out the majority of the corporations.